and it's fucking terrifying, and I will not be sitting down and watching it by myself, ever.
Welcome home, horror fans. My name's Adam.
And I'm Zoe.
And Hell House 4 is terrifying.
Yeah, you guys may have heard recently that everyone's talking about how Hell House LLC 4 Origins Carmichael Manor, movie with the longest name possible, is terrifying, and how the last 20 minutes are insane. And they're correct.
Yes. For once, it's not just marketing spin. There's a lot of talk these days about horrible, scary movies.
Oh, don't watch this alone at night. This is terrifying.
And there's not a lot of scary stuff that comes out these days.
No, and specifically when people say those sorts of things, you watch it and you're always disappointed.
Yeah.
This film is terrifying.
This film is scary. Now, we have watched a lot of horror movies, especially as of late, and I just want to say that out of all of the movies that we've seen, this movie had Zoe jumping out of her chair.
This is fucked. Oh, girl, what are you doing? She's gonna get locked in.
Absolutely, yeah. I've been watching horror for a long, long time, since I was very young, younger than I probably should have been. Thanks, Mum. Thanks, Mum. But I wouldn't be the person who I was today if I hadn't have watched all those movies at such a young age.
True.
Thanks, Mum. But in saying that, no movie really gets me. I think that the only other movie that's got me recently was Deadstream, and I was jumping a fair bit. But I was genuinely terrified in this film.
This one had you shrieking.
Yeah, literally. The first movie I've screamed in, I reckon, since I was about 9 years old. So there's that. I feel like I failed you, sorry. But genuinely scary. There is a lot of scares in this film that are done so well, and you just don't see it anymore in horror.
It's true, and I think that it's so many of them are scary, and you sort of wonder, I guess, why is this one scary compared to so much? And I think it really sort of, pull it apart a little bit. It's kind of like a little bit of the unknown. It's a little bit of like the creepiness of it. There's a lot that they do well in this film. Yep. And even though, and for me as well, like I've got to say, like it's the scenes where you kind of know something's going to happen. You
just don't know when.
Something is going to try and get you. But they're pretty good at also like faking out a bit as well. So you're not quite sure. You know something's going to happen, but you're not quite sure when. And you do know there's a lot of creepy stuff going on in the house. You're just waiting for it to get you.
I tell you what, the thing with this film is there was big talk of this film being terrifying. And both you and I have decided, well, we're not just going to start with number 4. We're going to watch everyone. Number 1 is great. I think that there's some great scares in that one as well, specifically the one with the girl, terrifying. Number 2 and 3, massive, massive letdown. So when we started to watch number 4, specifically there's a scene towards the start where you catch a glimpse of a dead body in the background of one of the girls filming. And she doesn't know it's there. Only the audience can see that it's there. And I must admit that when I saw that, I was like, oh, it's giving us way too much too soon. I don't have high hopes anymore. But the movie soon after that kicks off really quickly. It is done very well considering the previous one, the Lake of Fire one.
Do the theme song.
Lake of Fire. That film, just absolutely horrendous. And the ending to that film, insane. So you really don't think that this film is going to take things seriously and get it right. And they absolutely do. They smash it.
Yes. If you're not sure what we're quite talking about there, number 3 is called Lake of Fire. We did sit down and watch all 4 movies. We were like, we're not going to skip 3. There's a lot of hype around number 4, but we don't go in blind. We're going to watch them all. And number 1's a great movie. You'll enjoy number 1. I would say it's very akin to Paranormal Activity. So if you like Paranormal Activity kind of movies
like
at all,
those sort of found footage
then you'll
films,
enjoy this. If you hate those kind of movies, you won't enjoy it. But that being said, I'm not a big Paranormal Activity fan. I'm not a big fan of that because I feel like they're probably a little bit slow and the payoff's not quite really what I'd hope for. This is a lot better, in my opinion, or at least the first and the 4th movie out of the series, is a lot better than Paranormal Activity. I prefer it a lot compared, if you're going to compare the series. But it's very, very similar in the vein of how it's shot and how it's presented. The first film feels quite realistic. It's basically a found footage documentary style, and it does work in a lot of ways. The actors are actually quite good. But as I was saying, 2 and 3, the series drops off dramatically.
Yeah, it's almost hard to believe that they got number 4 so right.
That's right.
Based on where number 2 and 3 went.
2 and 3 kind of felt like maybe they were a little bit either sort of not sure what they were doing, they were desperate. It kind of felt like they were trying really hard to show us more, I guess, like scary things or actiony type things.
Yeah.
And it was too much of it.
And don't get me wrong, I think Hell House 2 has a really good scare towards the end with the girl playing the piano when she
got some
turns
moments.
around. There are some moments
the film is bad.
that are quite scary, but the film itself is really bad. And I think number 3, the problem with number 3 is nothing at all gets you in that entire film. There's not a scary scene in it. And it kind of, the ending makes it so borderline ridiculous that you feel like you've just wasted the hour and a half that you sat there watching it. Number 4, completely different story. There is an absolutely incredible scene where one of the characters is on a Zoom call, and it is seriously one of the scariest things I think I've ever seen. I think if I sat there and watched it again, I wouldn't be too bad, but seeing it for the first time, terrifying.
Yes, there's a few scenes here which, watch the film properly. You don't want to spoil them. You don't want to just load them up on YouTube. You should actually sit through and watch the film. The film works because it has this sort of level of realisticness to it that Paranormal Activity always tried to, sort of portray before it just started doing crazy stuff. So there's a little bit of patience to be had in the early parts of the movies. And that's why 2 and 3 didn't work so much. They sort of just started going crazy early on and it was just too much. But the first movie and the fourth movie, they work very well. We are seeing these characters have very normal sort of existence in one in the manor and then also in Hell House in the first film. And things start to go awry. And it goes at a decent pace. Yeah. I feel like it's quicker than Paranormal Activity, but it's not, at the end of the day, not too much. Because you've got to feel that level of realism instead of this craziness that happens in 2 and 3. 4 itself, though, has to take the cake. Because I think that they realized where they'd gone wrong in 2 and 3. They pulled it back. They made it kind of like a Netflix documentary. This one sort of feels like a little bit, which is kind of cool. But they really take what's scary about the series, which are these clown characters, which we see a lot of, and they use them in a very well sort of, I guess, eerie way. And I guess we don't want to touch too much on sort of how they use it and what they do, because it is best to just go in blind and enjoy it. And again, watch this film in the dark, of course.
Oh, yeah. In the dark alone, I must admit that watching Hell House 4, if I was in the dark alone and by myself, I would have turned it off. I think that the film was genuinely terrifying. I'm glad that I got to watch it with Adam because he got to not only witness my absolute havoc that I caused that night, but also he stopped me from turning the movie off. I think at many points I said, I can't do this anymore. We got to turn this off. Yes, he didn't listen. We got through the film, and I'm glad I did.
If you want to try watching this movie by yourself in the dark, up loud, be our guests.
I think the problem with me as well is we've done so many slasher and gore films lately that taking it back to the roots and doing these ghost sort of you don't really know what's happening and suspense horrors. I can't take it anymore. I'm not the same person I used to be.
Yeah, what's the thing? So many horror movies, they're not really scary movies, are they? They just are, horror, grotesque, slasher, gore, whatever. Yeah. But this isn't that. This is trying to be suspenseful, which is 4 out of the whole franchise is the most suspenseful. There's a few scenes where you know something's going to happen, but you just don't know when.
Yep.
And that's what gets you. It's like you're sitting on the edge of your seat for a few moments where you're just like, where is it? Where's it coming from?
Yeah.
And it's kind of fun. Like, it's just exciting to sort of try to guess maybe when it's going to happen, but you can't guess. No. It's always going to just happen at the last moment. And also, the clown characters they've got are very well designed. They're very cool.
Absolutely. The main clown is incredible.
Yeah, they knew they had something with the first clown they had in Hell House 1, because he's the one they use throughout the whole franchise.
The whole franchise, yeah.
And he works very, very well. And even I said, I'd like to buy the mask to have it on display maybe here somewhere, but it's so terrifying. I probably just won't do it, to be honest, because I don't want to be walking past this set and have that mask sitting here.
Yeah.
It gets you that much, you know? Because honestly, if I've got to walk past here in the dark and he's sitting there, I'm like, you know what? No thanks.
No thanks. I think I'll stay in bed.
Yes. Perhaps I'll leave it in storage that time.
In summary, this movie is as scary as what people say it is.
Yes.
I'm one to not believe that sort of thing when it goes around the internet, but I'm glad that I watched it because it really is terrifying.
Yes, this is not paid marketing. This is actually real. This is the truth.
Yep.
This is a movie which, it will get you.
It will get you.
It will get you.
If it doesn't, then you're crazy.
Otherwise, guys, thanks for watching as always, and we'll see you in the next one.
See you next time, guys.